Hello, world. This is Kimberly and Connor Tracy over here at Big Red SEO.
Hey, guys.
How are you doing this wonderful Tuesday? We're doing
There's
terrific.
A camera up there
We're
too,
doing
so
terrific.
don't ignore those people.
Hi, guys. Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. I've got eyes all over the place. All over the place. Well, hey, we wanted to tune in today. We've got a little bit of a different structure. You know us. We like to kind of like shift stuff around, throw stuff around. And then creatively, trying to figure out what do we want to talk about? How can we serve you guys the best? What's the scenario for the best? We always come back to our home roots of web design, SEO, and pay-per-click, right? Like, we want to be able to help you guys as a mentor and be able to provide advice. Absolutely. Also, at the same time, there's something to be said whether you hire a website designer like ourselves, which we're awesome. We have awesome, passionate products. And we love working with all of our clients, right? If you're not a client, we would love to work with you as well. However, we also want to emphasize the importance of, even if you don't go with a designer per se, there's still stuff to look at. There's stuff to take into account. You do not by any means have to be a web design expert in order to kind of like build something yourself nowadays, right? There's simplicity that happens when you do engage somebody that's in the profession, right? They can like help you figure out how to do things quicker, smarter, maybe not put the neon colors or the attempt to do sparkly in your face, unless maybe you're a stripper. I mean, that might work. That's the first thing that dropped in my head. I was like, well, that would actually work really well for a stripper.
There's other reasons to have sparkle stuff. Come on now.
Well, what other reason? Like, okay, let's creatively do this, right? What other web designs would need sparkly stuff?
Maybe she's a princess and it's for like kids' parties and stuff.
But would that actually attract a parent, though?
Why wouldn't it?
It would attract a kiddo for sure, but would it attract a parent?
Yeah, because the parent puts themselves into the kid's mind or something.
Do they? This is where Connor's like, am I a parent? I don't know.
No, I know that you put yourself into the mindset of our dogs when you go looking for
because
toys.
I have a conversation with the dog.
If Kim could, she would pick up the toys in the store, put them in her mouth, and do
I've done that before. Confession, guys. Like, I have done that before. I have also another confession. I don't know if this made it on Facebook Live. I feel like it has previously. Back in the day when I used to drink, and one evening when I drank a lot, I did put myself in the position, this is so sideways, I did put myself in the position of our dogs, and we have our dogs crate trained, and they personally go into their crates, even with them not shut. It's their like little space, and they enjoy it. But we were having the internal conversation with too many drinks in, and I was like, some people think that crate training's cruel and that the dogs aren't happy. So I actually tested and crawled into our dog crate and sat in there. And then this lovely husband of mine, business partner, creative strategist over here, he locked me in. And the so fascinating thing is, whether you're a human or a dog, you literally can't get out of the crate if you're put into the crate. Like, I couldn't get out.
Yeah, I think that had a little bit more to do with the drinking aspect than anything else.
I don't know. I think it was more like, don't catch my panties. Like, I was like trying to angle so he couldn't catch my bits and pieces, right? Like, that was really what it was about. It was like, hey, this is so fun.
Guys, welcome to Facebook Live.
I know. Hi, everybody. Whoever's joining us, whether you've been with us before or not, please excuse the new environment. I think we're going to wind up coming back into the space, maybe my space, maybe our home space. It's just
right now you can see a little bit more white space over here.
Yeah.
I mean,
unless we just
on
paint.
this camera you can see it on both sides.
We can paint both walls this weekend.
It's that, or we could run the green screen behind us. So that's another thought.
Or we could build a wall, and then we can build the wall back behind, and then knock on the wall. And would anybody answer? If you knocked on the wall, would anybody answer?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I've knocked on the wall, and all you've done is yell at me.
Okay, back to business, guys, because Connor actually did some really good research today.
I did.
So let's talk about what you found.
So
it's a law, which I enjoy. Yeah. I enjoy universal laws.
I got a handful of different things.
Yeah.
Does it feel like we're really short on here?
You always talk about me being too tall.
No, I mean just the camera itself. Like, there you go.
Hi, guys.
Hi. Up there, I mean, it's fine because we put the logo up there.
I don't even know if anybody's watching us or not, but I just want to go like this.
There you go. All right, so a couple different things that I wanted to run through. Essentially, the theme for today was design trends and tips.
Yeah.
So there were a couple of things that I was researching. We've been
Don't
doing
put
this.
counters on your website.
Yeah, well, yeah. Don't put a counter on your website. Right? Just ignore that part.
Sorry.
But these are the do's
popped
rather
through.
than the don'ts. as
We had
such.
somebody last week who was like, counters are so cool. I'm like, don't put a counter on your website. Here's the reason why you don't want a counter on your website. Number one reason. Back in the day, they were really cool. Back in the day when they very first started the internet, they were really cool because a lot of people weren't on the internet, or if they were, they didn't really judge you.
They were never really cool.
I don't know. So anyway, if you put a counter on your website, people are going to be able to tell how much traffic you get on your website. And if you don't get a lot of people on your website,
Then it's a problem.
it's a problem because then people are like, this business isn't very popular. It's not very cool. It's not very focused. It's not very da-da-da-da. And it's nothing to do with the business. The business can actually be an amazing business, but people put judgment on their
But like anything else, so that can all be manipulated. Instead of for every one visitor that comes in, you don't move it up by 1, you move it up by 15
right.
or 14.
It would be like this website has 1 billion visitors
But
and it does
if
not
you look
look
at
good.
it, if you look at it, do you remember getting checks at a bank? And they would never start at number 1 at a bank. They would always start you at check number 1,000.
I got check one. Like when I got my banking account, it was like 001.
Holy crap.
002. But I was from a podunk town, so maybe that's a podunk town thing. I don't know.
Most banks start at 1,000 and go up. Sometimes it's a random number. But essentially the thought process is that businesses wouldn't accept your
first check or whatever.
Because you're only learning the banking system at that point. So anyway,
my first check started with 1, and then you had to fill out your own information. They were like classified as starter checks.
Yeah, they didn't count. Come on now. All right.
You guys are just getting all sorts of stuff.
We're moving on.
Okay, what good stuff do you have?
All right. So you had mentioned laws, and you were talking about Murphy's Law earlier.
I geek out on laws. Well, you brought your law to me, and
Yes.
then law of attraction, guys, right? Then somebody else says a different law, and then somebody else says a different law, and I'm like, shit, there's laws all over the place today. Okay, so
the one that we use when it comes to the internet, when it comes to the web design stuff.
I don't know if I want to tell people this.
Of course we do.
Okay, go ahead.
It's called Hicks Law. Okay, and essentially the way Hicks laws work.
They're getting our deep dark secret.
Yeah, I know. The more choices that someone has, the longer it takes them to make a decision. Okay, so how that plays into the web design end of things is that if you have a short and simple navigation, if you're not doing 20 items, if you're not doing 10 items in every drop down and so forth, it's information overload, and I, in years past, have always attributed it to kind of like a fork in the road. You pull up to a stop sign, there's two other cars coming in, no big deal, everybody knows how to move along. You pull up to a 5-way stop, fuck it. No one knows what they're doing.
Do you just say fucking get out of the car and you'll walk down the sidewalk? Do you just leave your car there?
You
don't even put the blinkers on. You're just like fuck it, I'm out.
So for me, I hate everything there is to do with 4-way stops, all-way stops, multiple lanes, all that kind of crap. I just make a right-hand turn every time.
I don't like the thing that you go around and then you have to yield and wait for the other. And in Ireland, they're popular.
The thing you go around.
Yeah, guys, what is the thing? Like
the roundabout thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
The roundabout. I don't like the roundabout because then I'm like, do I yield? Do I not yield? There's a sign, but there's a car, and then there's 4 cars, and then if you are in charge of yielding, do you have to let all 4 cars go, and then you're at a complete stop, and then you're confused, and then
roundabouts not a problem for me.
So you know what I do?
Stops problem.
Okay, another confession. I feel like this is confession day. You know what I do? I just keep going around. So I'm like, I don't know if there's a car there. I don't know if I'm supposed to exit or not exit, or I feel like I need to retake my driver's test.
Was it National Lampoon European Vacation?
Have the
Chevy
roundabout?
Chase went around the circle. Driver's test?
Do they have a round? I don't think I did a roundabout in the driver's test.
I don't think they do it there. But there is a roundabout across town. I can take you over there and you can drive right through it.
But do you know the rules? You may not know the rules.
Of course I know the rules.
No, he thinks he knows the rules like 22 years ago.
One of the rules is Hicks Law. Don't put so much crap on there that you can't make a decision.
Yeah. So here's the deal. We've talked about this in previous videos, guys, and this is really serious, right? People can experience decision fatigue, and it's a real deal. It's a real thing. So if you want to not just earn clients, but convert people on your website, it's important for simplicity to be at the forefront. Intention, simplicity, what are you doing? What are you looking to get? You don't have to set your website and forget it. You can move things around. So if you have seasonal, non-seasonal, you can push stuff forward. What we find is a lot of people will go and do research on what is SEO, and they'll go find recommendations and feedback from like 12 years ago.
Yep.
All the
Or
way back
even
whenever
3
it
years
first
ago.
started, and then they just want to stack so much shit into their website. But unfortunately, the search engines are not really looking at your menu navigation, guys. Your menu navigation is specifically there to help drive your customer or your ideal project or prospect wherever you want them to go, whatever information you wish for them to
Header
find.
and footer, Google ignores it.
Yeah.
So you don't try to squeeze something in there. It's on every page, so Google just ignores
Yeah.
it. But you were talking about the decision fatigue.
Yeah.
So
It's a real deal. I experience it every time. He says, I want chips. And then he goes, I want barbecue chips.
Yeah.
And I'm still confused. I'm like, do you want Lay's? Do you want Ruffles? Do you want Doritos? Do you want da-da-da? There's so many options. The other day he was like, I need a toothbrush. And I'm like, I go to the toothbrush aisle. The soft toothbrush. I'm like, do you want purple? Do you want green? Do you want like it?
It doesn't really matter.
Flosses your teeth as you go. It's 360 around your teeth. Guys, decision fatigue.
Yep.
There's no such thing as just a regular toothbrush.
So, in 2012,
Yeah.
Google did a huge study. It was
Yeah.
a big study. They brought in, of course, their own smart people. They also teamed up with a
Google has
couple.
all smart people.
A couple of
Casey's here! Casey! We're talking about
universities.
toothbrushes in Google and laws.
Okay. So anyway, they ran a big study, and one of the things that they determined from the study was the more complex a design looks, the less it's perceived by the visitor to be beautiful. Okay, so you were talking about decision fatigue with regards to the navigation earlier with the Hicks Law, but essentially, if you have too much stuff on your website, people can't actually see that it looks nice.
So here,
So two parts that go with that, and then you can talk. One of the things that they were suggesting, and this goes back to 2012, ditch the sidebar. So get rid of the sidebar, make it a nice, clean website.
Organically, we started doing that.
Yeah, if you need to use the sidebar on like a blog or something like that, I mean, go ahead and do that. But for the most part, that sidebar should kind of be gone. And then the other thing was to stick to standard layouts. And by that, it's the navigation on pretty much every website is either on the left-hand side or it's across the top.
Yeah.
Putting a navigation in the bottom, it's not where people would expect it to be. Now, there are times when you can do that, but if you're going like an e-commerce website, people are used to a checkout button in the top right-hand side. Just like a phone number, we put in the top right-hand side.
So
the
I'd
logo
say-
goes on the left. People are just used to seeing it that way.
Yeah, so a footer in the bottom of the page would work really, really well for like a sales landing page. Sales landing pages rarely ever have a menu navigation, honestly, because it's
Right.
distracting. You don't want the end user to bounce out somewhere else before you get a chance to sell what you're trying to sell. So that's super duper popular. Also, if you wind up having an end user land into a page for signing up for a newsletter or an ebook or something like that, there's no reason or necessity to have an actual menu navigation,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
And it's basically you're taking your visitor by the hand and you're showing them where you want them to go. And if they don't want to sign up for the thing, then you just abandon them and walk away. Say, screw you.
You just abandon them and walk away. No, you give them the worms and fuzzies, and you give them the information that they're seeking and they want, right? Like there's going to be some people that, guys, they're just not going to be your jam. They're not going to be your clients. As Connor says, he classifies them as tire kickers, people looking things for free. People
And there's
that are
nothing
wanting
wrong
to
with
get
looking for
information
stuff for free.
Yeah,
I'm okay with people looking for stuff for free, but
you get so much more out of it whenever you invest, though.
yeah. At a certain point, that free just kind of wears off, and you've got to actually buckle down and do it. So
Yeah, there's action that's required, right? So you can get all the free stuff that you want, but if you get all that free stuff in your head, what happens then, right? So it's like a matter of figuring that out.
And then it's also perceived value. So if you get a lot of stuff for free, then you attribute it all to being free, so you don't really have to do anything with it.
Or you think you got it in your head, so you got it figured out, so you don't take action.
Yeah, there's that too.
There's some people out there that they just want to know. They just want to know the details. They don't want to do the do. They don't want to do the do.
So, 2 other items on here, and then
I had a really good thought like a while back, but then you were like, stay quiet, and I'm trying to work on not interrupting guys, and then it just like went, pew, pew, but it was really good. It was something to do with design.
I'm sure it was
and
awesome.
something to do with a header.
I think you're going to remember here in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. So, one of the other things with regards to using pictures in your website, blogs are not blogs, stock photography. I mean, everybody uses it. If you can get to do your own stock photography or your own photography, do that.
Yeah.
You know, it has a better impact. But one of the studies
I don't know.
that they did,
Is there really a study for that? I don't know. I get it, but
there
I don't.
is.
Okay.
There is. And
I personally don't filter. If somebody uses stock photos, I don't really, compared to normal photos.
Right, you gloss over it, but if they use actual photos of them, themselves, their team, and whatever, there's a psychological connection between that.
I would agree, because there is the jewelry gal, Love 13 Heather. She's the main forefront of her entire company, and she's on all of her images, and I really enjoy seeing her. I stalk her a lot because I see her in everything. She's in all of her promotion. She puts some of her family stuff up too, but it ties to the actual business, right? So I could agree with that part. Sure. But whenever I look at being a consumer and buying something or traveling websites and looking for stuff, I don't know, even if with the images of the team, for me, it's not a deciding factor. Or at least subconsciously, it's not. Consciously.
And that's the thing, is that subconsciously it may not be. So when you look at...
Or is it consciously? Subconsciously is deep below.
Yeah.
So subconsciously, I might be filtering it.
Yes. Okay, so...
But on our website, we have images of us.
We have
and
images
stock
of
images.
us. We do have some
Our
stock.
goal is to replace all of our images. However, it is a long journey.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. But anyway, one of the things when it comes to pictures of people in particular is that people tend to look the same direction that the people face in an ad or in a picture. So if the person is looking to the right, the content should be on the right-hand side. So when you look at
right before you said right.
when you look at anything from billboard advertisements, or you're looking at a poster at a bus bench, or
I'm
on
learning
websites.
new things, people, because I just pick images.
Yeah, but you pick an image of a person looking to the right, and then that's where the text is. Or there's an image on the left, and they're looking
That's
back
like
towards
advanced
the text.
image placement, guys. Just make sure that there's no writing in the background if you flip the image so it's not backwards. We've done that before on accident.
Yes.
Luckily, it was for our own shindig, but we were like, oh, that's kind of interesting. You can totally tell we just flipped and manipulated that. We won't say where that went.
Yeah, and that was on a computer screen.
It was pretty. It was.
You had to pay attention to see it, but it was there.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Cool.
So yeah, make sure your images are set up that people are looking.
Optimize
for
your
your
images too.
text.
Size them down. Optimize them.
So,
we had a client last week that did that, and it bogged down their site horribly bad, y'all.
Yep. And then the last item.
Yeah.
Because I've gone now through how many bullet point lists?
Like
We've done
5. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
He was testing me to figure out. I think I added like 7, but yeah.
So, and this part ties into all of that. So it's called the serial position effect.
It sounds so serious.
Doesn't it?
Jesus.
All right. So,
Or it makes me hungry. It makes me want cereal.
Yeah, of course it does. It's an S, not a C. Okay. So essentially, in a bullet point list, people generally remember the first 2 items and the last 2 items on a bullet point list. Everything in the middle, they gloss over. So a lot of times they'll be reading through a bullet point list. Let's say there's 7 or 9. They'll read the first 2. They might skip one to the middle. They'll read the bottom 2. So the item, or the way it's referred to, is called the primary and recency effect. Okay, but largely people just forget everything about the middle. So when you come to this video here, we know what happened in the very beginning. Kim was talking about her drunken stories, and now we're...
Well, they're good. They're good stories. They don't happen very often anymore. It's like legacy. It's like a folklore story back in the day.
Folklore.
Yeah, like back
Folklore.
like the legacy stories. Like that's the thing. Hey, so
anyway,
when I
that's
look
everything
at
I've got with regards to trends and tips and designs and stuff like that.
Did you totally see? He like talked right over. He's like, don't. No. So when it comes to bullet points, I actually scan all bullet points.
Do you scan them or do you read them all?
I scan them for specific words.
Okay, and do you remember them? And that's really where it comes down to.
No, I scan them for specific words, and if something pops out that's engaging, then I'll read that bullet point.
Right. So essentially the way that this works is that you should put the most important information in your first 2 items and then your last 2 items.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in the middle is filler, but that's where
I say
where that
keep it
needs
to
be.
3 bullet points, y'all, if you can.
Or-
Short and
or
sweet.
not use
I can.
any.
Well, the bullet points was okay. Like
3 to 5
so, he
is
says
about
don't
what you
use
want.
any, but he's a C-level bullet point dude.
I'm a bullet point guy. Give me
So the one guy that says don't use them, he uses them himself. So
Don't
I do
use-
think
so
I
here.
think that they offer value.
don't use them. Write it in a sentence with only 8 words.
The 8-word rule. No. I think like you can get away. I think bullet points sometimes add and break things up. Especially in design.
Yes, and sure, in any of the spec stuff or how-to articles or anything like that, you're going to need bullet points
Or
And
descriptions.
we use them on our
do.
use them on our blog posts.
Yeah.
But in general, don't go crazy with a bullet point list. Like your top 100 things you should do, and then it's all bullet pointed out. And you're wrapping
Hey,
things.
if it's a checklist and they put it in bullet points, that's awesome because you could just go check, check, check. But 2 different. So this is the benefit,
would mean
guys.
that you're going
you
to print
all
it
get
out.
both different sides of different people, right? Like different scenarios, different
Who's printing out
situations.
lists?
So Hicks Law, y'all. So you'll have to go at the very beginning to be able to learn all the deets as well as the internal confessions of different things that happen. Over here in our world, we have been boot-cooking busy with web design, SEO, as well as paid per click. We're traveling at the end of this month. Super excited about that. We've got some opportunities with some different businesses and conferences and learning shenanigans. And then in June,
Yeah.
we're traveling a lot more.
We go away for a week. We come back. You go back to the place 2
Yeah.
days later.
Yeah.
I stay here and continue on working. And
Yeah.
then the next week, we've got a week and then we're gone again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's definitely summertime travel, but this is summertime travel and work.
Well, and
So-
for us, it's not really summertime. It's all falling in place at the right place at the right time. So anyway, lean in. Alrighty, we hope you guys have a great week. We will catch you next week. If you have any questions, feel free to put them down below. If you found any benefit, feel free to like our status as well as share it if you feel pulled.
There you go.
Yeah, he's got this super cool graphics
So
over here.
Facebook.com/BigRedSEO. Of course, that's where you are right now. Unless you're on YouTube, then you're not on there.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
then you got Twitter.com.
I was just thinking that. I was like, did the
SEO.
YouTube people get to say, hey,
And then the
YouTube people?
YouTube.com/BigRedSEO.
Yeah.
So go check out our videos on there. And then, of course, our website, Kim is working on an article.
Yeah, I am.
So we should have that out here for the end of the week, hopefully.
No, I don't know. I'm working on it. I'm doing it as fast as I can, y'all.
All right.
All right, we'll check to you soon and talk then. Bye.
All right, guys. Have a great day now. I gotta find the button to click.
Click, click, click,
Click, click,
the
click,
button.
click, click, click.
Click, click.
Nope, that's not it either. Click, click. That one.
I don't know.
Click there. There we go.
Goodbye.
All right, guys. We'll see ya.
See you